All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 6 of the Former Coach's Corner. Just a little bit kind of going over here. I know you see that we got a new guest here coming on. We're going to introduce him in a minute. Again, we just want to thank some of our sponsors here with Shakalaka Bowls, where we're hosting this, and WA's got a couple.
We're in it today. We oversee home maintenance and repair out of Ocean Isle Beach. We do handyman work, pretty much any and everything as far as property services, and we're actually getting into the residential for residential homeowners to basically have one point of contact for all your home maintenance needs. And then social site marketing, our producer Nolan, and they do social media marketing from Wilmington all the way down to Myrtle. Obviously, he's producing our podcast. You guys have seen where we started at and where we're at now, so the body of work's right there.
The quality, the sound, the video, everything is just 1,000 times better.
And we're trying, with Charlotte Area Sports, with Former Coach's Corner, we want to open up the opportunity. If you want to sponsor, if you want to donate anything, we enjoy it. We spend a lot of time doing it. We want to keep it going. And, me with a little baby and, growing family, the time constraints are there. So I want to make sure I can take care of people to go out and provide coverage, local coverage, and that helps do that. So if you're interested, just send us a message, send AT a message, and we'll make sure we take care of it. We don't have the packages set up or anything, but we'd love to chat.
Yeah, we're not. We told you from the beginning of everything that this isn't about making money. This isn't about we just want to give coaches a platform. We want to give Charlotte area sports just an area or a new media kind of thing. But some things that we're talking about doing is adding a banner with our logo with some sponsors on here, and just do a couple small things that can clean this up a little bit, and anything can help. All you got to do is just shoot us a message and we'll work from there. And again, like, we do some shout outs on here, and we love to shout out your business or personally your name, whatever it is that you might like on here. And we'll get a little bit more into that, but if you're interested into it, definitely DM us, okay? We're going to go a little bit over last week before we get into Coach Everett here with the podcast today. We had Coach Brian on at that point, but it was before y'all's first game, girls and guys, before you guys played South Columbus. Both of you guys have done really well so far with your schedule so far. You guys are 2-2 in the girls program, and the guys are 3-1 right now. I know you guys got a big game tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night? Yeah, Cape Fear, right?
Yeah.
You guys need a little bit of payback. No, y'all ended up winning that game last year. In overtime, and we lost in double overtime. So I know it's going to be a good game. If you guys can make it out tomorrow night, I know you're going to see this after the fact of that. But that Cape Fear girls and guys matchup is going to be really fun to watch. And then you guys got another game on Friday, right?
Yeah, we're at Whiteville.
You're at Whiteville.
Friday. So.
Another, I know you guys handled business pretty well on the girls' side the other night, but the guys, it came down to it in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a tough
place to play, too.
And Whiteville's always a tough place to play.
Yeah.
But, some of the things Coach Bryant talked about last week, I know you missed it,
I listened to it. That's the first one.
Thank you, Nolan, for stepping in. We had some really good conversation, and it was really cool, picking his brain. I think it's so fun. I tell people all the time, when you have other people who know basketball the way you do, it's almost like speaking another language when you start getting technical into stuff, and it's a really fun conversation. So if you haven't watched that episode last week, please go back. Coach Bryant did a great job. He's doing a great job at West, and we wish nothing but the best for him.
Yeah, and medical update on me. I'm fine. Dad's good. Had to take Dad to the emergency room last week. More precautionary than anything else, but he's doing fine, healing up nicely. So we're good to go. Glad to be back this week.
Well, so first things first, we're going to introduce Coach Everett. This is Coach Mike Everett. He is the head girls basketball coach over at West Brunswick. This is your second year?
Yep.
Second year at West. And now I've known you for probably about maybe 10 years now.
Yeah, somewhere along
Or 8 years, something like that, from when I was at High Point Central. We used to coach
Yes.
against each other when I was at High Point Central and he was at Northwest Guilford. And just some of those battles that we had back then, of course, we lost every single one against your teams that went to the state championship every single year. We had to play them twice every single time in conference, sometimes 3 times going into the conference tournament, which was not fun. But we're gonna let you, like we said, this is a platform for coaches that don't ever get that platform, and we're gonna kind of let you tell who you are, because I know the Beacon does a good job and Brian does a good job covering you guys, but this is something different. I feel a little bit more
different
personal.
form of media. And,
yeah,
it's fun.
So we're gonna go back a little bit. Where are you from originally? Where you grow up at?
I grew up in Greensboro area.
Really?
Summerfield is actually the little town that we grew up in. So and then
What high
lived
school is
in-
that?
I went to Western Guilford.
You went to Western
So, yeah,
Guilford.
so we were from Greensboro, that area, and then moved from there. You know, we've never lived there all our lives except for 6 years when my wife and I moved. Our family, we moved to Laurinburg to.
I forget about your years at Laurinburg because I was
spent
figuring
6
you were
years
always
at
there.
Scotland County.
Really?
Yeah,
You
Scotland
saw some
County High
athletes.
School?
Yeah.
Scotland County High School.
You saw
yes.
some athletes there. What'd you coach
Yeah, we
there?
had some. I was boys basketball coach.
Just boys basketball.
I helped a little bit with baseball, ninth grade football.
What,
So
what
you coached
years were
too.
those? Ballpark.
96 to 02. And then we moved back to Greensboro. Then
Now, were your boys
instead.
growing up during that time?
They were third, fourth grade.
Okay, so
roughly.
they weren't
were
in
young.
high school
No,
there.
no, they were very young.
Okay, so
Yeah,
when you
so-
left Scotland, then you moved back to Greensboro area. Where'd you
was-
go after that?
Southeast Guilford for 2 years.
Okay.
And then moved over to Northwest after
So you've
that.
been in
and
Northwest.
spent
That's
there
where I
for-
know you from.
Spent the last 20 years there.
And you coached
Yeah.
everything because I know we coach against each other in
Yes.
softball, basketball. I know you coached baseball for a little
Yes,
bit there.
I did a little bit of everything.
You were the athletic director.
Athletic director for 3 years, roughly, or 2.5 till I retired. And then before the Laurinburg stint, I was the boys basketball coach at Western Guilford, and before that, I spent 6 years as the assistant coach at High Point University or
So
High Point College.
You've been around the game.
Oh yeah,
Well, so talking about High Point, I forgot. We're going to bring that up. You played at High Point, correct?
I did.
So what years was it that you were at High Point?
80 to 85.
Who were some guys that you saw there when you were there?
I played against Eddie Lee Wilkins. Eddie, I think that's his last name. He was at Gardner Webb, 6'11". He was a backup center, but for the New York Knicks for a while. We played. Pembroke was really good at the time. UNC Pembroke. They were somebody that you had to beat in order to win, to get to the top of the conference and do. Then when we came back and I coached there, we won. We were the only school to ever win the Conference Carolinas when I was the assistant coach 3 years in a row. We had George Byers, a guard that was really tremendous. Kenny Drummond played for us. He transferred, went to NC State, played for Valvano. Then he was out a year of school, and then he came and played for us. We had a kid named Roy Smith that went to East Carolina and then transferred. He was really good. So we had some good
you
players.
had some guys. Now this
So-
is the crazy question. I know you don't know that area as well, but how crazy to see where you were at High Point University to what it looks like now.
It's a resort now.
I
It's
mean,
not-
you can't go
we're-
in there unless you're invited
Yeah.
in there.
When I was in school there and worked there, we were 900 students. It was just like, it's a Guilford College, it's a Methodist.
Yep.
I mean, same size.
Yep.
You know, and then now it's
It's insane.
a gated resort for whoever it's for, but it's not for.
It's not for me.
Yeah, our joke was we would have never survived there. The guys we went to school with, just because
Yeah.
it was just different.
It was different.
It was just different. It
I mean,
wasn't kind of
that
us.
Tubby Smith Arena is
Yeah.
pretty remarkable. If you haven't seen that before in High
We
Point,
played there.
Yeah,
Well, we played there
did it.
before. It was probably Tubby Smith Arena. I think it was like maybe year one of his stint there.
Okay. Yeah, because they didn't
Quabain
change it
Center?
till it was over.
Mm-hmm.
The Quabain
Quabain
Center
Center.
is what they call it. Yeah,
Is that what they
that's
call it? I thought it
that's-
was, is
that's
it Tubby Smith Court or something like that? Didn't he donate X amount?
Maybe.
I mean,
yeah,
you
he did. I
think-
think the court maybe
Named after
Tubby,
him.
excuse me, but it's the Quabain Center, and yeah, it's outrageous. It's as nice a 4,500, 5,000 seat, maybe if that many arena as you will ever find. Place to play.
I mean, you've coached there, you played there, not in that exact arena, but some of I don't know as much of your other programs that you've been around, but I know one of the most successful programs was that Northwest Guilford program that you worked as an assistant coach.
Yes.
And who was the head coach again?
Darlene. Jordan.
Darlene. Make sure Darlene watches that. I remember coaching against
yeah.
her, and I think she'd enjoy this as much too.
Yeah, she was very, very good. We had a lot of good times.
And
She
you
was
talk
good.
about one thing is, as a young head coach kind of getting into it, you're trying to, I feel like anybody should say this if they're being totally honest, anything great is stolen. And, I was a sponge at that point. Anything that I watched, near anybody, trying to mimic their program. Not mimic it exactly, but finding what
Right.
works for us in the courts and be like, okay, that works. I'm going to try it and see if it works for us as well.
Everything, because when I was younger, first started, became head coach in high school. Yeah, I was at clinics. I was everywhere trying to Myrtle Beach, Nike clinic, Duke clinic, Carolina clinic. Everywhere we could go, we were out. The coaches clinic in Greensboro. We were somewhere watching something and trying to learn and pick up something that we could do to help our group out. The groups we had at Northwest, though, we were fortunate. We had, two ACC players, Big South player, a Division II player that played at Limestone.
The girl that went to Guilford.
The girl that went to Guilford, who will probably end up in Guilford's Hall of Fame because
What was her name?
Lindsay Golden, because she is, she's their all-time leading scorer at Guilford College, and so we had some really good players. So in order to win state championship, you've got to have some really good players. It doesn't matter what level, and you've got to have a few breaks.
Well, I know one thing that stands out from those years that you won the state championship. One of those years you guys won, it was like 29-28.
Yeah, the first year.
Defensive. I mean, well, like you said, you got Ralph Kitley's daughter who's standing at what, 6'5"?
Yeah, the
6'6"?
first year I believe it was. We had the first year played Southeast Raleigh, which they are really good. They had a girl that went to Carolina, was their center. Went to Carolina. I can't remember her name now. Poole was her last name. They were really good. They had a really good guard. It was a battle, and obviously you're playing a state championship game. You're at Raleigh at Reynolds, the renovated Reynolds, and it was that's a great atmosphere now for what they have going on there. They've reduced the seating to about 5,000 themselves, and it's a tremendous place to play. But anyway, I think both teams were a little tight. It was a struggle to score both ways. I think Kitley had 17 or 18, and King had 11, and like I said, I think
those
one
only
other.
two that scored.
I think that might have been. We might have had one other person hit a field goal or get a free throw or something, but that was pretty much it. But on the other side, same thing with the other team. They had very few people that scored too. So it was a struggle, and both teams were really good defensively, and we were fortunate enough to win that one. They missed a shot at the buzzer for us to win, and then the next year we went back, played at the Dean Dome, and we won by 6-ish or so, somewhere along in there.
I think it it gets passed over a little bit, but when you get into coaching and or playing, like that is the number one goal in all of high school athletics, whether you're coaching or playing or whatever it is. And to be a part of something like that, you're in a very small club. As many years as. I mean, not everybody has that, That was my dream transferring to Trinity, playing under Tim Kelly, was to win it because they had that tradition of winning there. And, I think that's anybody's goal when they get into coaching as a young coach of having that opportunity and to do it twice. But is that your only two?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only two that we had. I mean, I've had some other good teams. I've had some really bad teams. We had a year in Laurinburg at Scotland, probably the best boys team I had. We were 24-2 or something like that. We got to the state playoffs the second round. We run up against South Meck. They had a kid 6'9", about 260 pounds, and he went to Clemson, and he kind of put a hurt on us.
Y'all are competing in the West region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were always in the West at Scotland there, and so you play. Like I said, you've got to be good, but you've also got to have some breaks and things happen your way at that. Just in the Greensboro area, the year that we won it, Northern Guilford won the state championship also. They had the girl 6'5", 6'6" girl, the Canaan girl that went to NC State.
Yep.
So the area for girls basketball at that stretch was
very
good.
Yeah, it really
you guys
was.
were. You guys
we just
were
didn't have
up
that
and
talent.
coming. You just didn't have quite the size.
We didn't know we did.
You had some guards that were really good when you were there, but you just didn't have quite the same size that we had, and those kind of things, or the depth.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about some of those girls because Elizabeth Kitley, her father played at Wake. Ralph, right?
Yep.
Ralph Kitley, he played at Wake. Elizabeth Kitley, how tall was she? 6'5"?
6'6".
6'6". She played at Virginia Tech. She was ACC Player of the Year, wasn't she?
Three-time
ACC Player of the Year.
in ACC.
Drafted by the Las Vegas Aces. correct?
Yes.
Now I know she's not there anymore. She's been released.
No.
But I mean, to even get to that,
Just to
segment,
be considered that you get to be on a roster
To be
for
the
a
best
while.
of the best.
Correct.
I think we
It's-
need
it's
to
a
talk
heckler.
about, because we've all seen basketball at low levels and very high levels, right? I think it's important to just note how good that top level Division I basketball players are when compared
Yes.
to just your good high school player.
They put in, and every Sunday, they were Kitley and King that played for us. You know, we can't work with them on Sundays, high school, but every Sunday, Ralph, because he was our principal at school, Liz's father, they were in the gym
Every day.
with somebody.
Yeah.
Every extra, every day in the summer, they were in the gym. They didn't take a day off. They were in the gym every day when they were in high school. And then when they were home on break from Virginia Tech, they were at Northwest getting up shots, working out, doing something.
The other
every
athlete
day.
is Kayla King. She was a point guard that was
Yes.
in girls basketball. She was a point guard that was probably standing 6'1".
Yeah, she was around
6'1",
6'2".
6'2".
Yeah.
That could, I mean, you talk about those few athletes that no matter how pressured they are, they don't turn the ball over. Kayla King, she might not have
No.
thrown up 35, 40 points, could shoot the ball well enough, was not an incredible shooter by any means, but she never sped up. She stayed at her pace, and she never lost the ball.
No,
Ever.
in high
And she
school,
was strong, man.
in high school, no one could take it
Nope.
from her.
Nope.
And obviously, when she got in Virginia Tech, she moved to the wing as a shooter, and she's now one of their top 5, 10 three-point shooters
Wow.
in the history of the school.
Where is she at now?
She is at Clemson as a grad assistant. Liz is back at Virginia Tech as a. I think she's doing the radio
For the
games
girls'
for
basketball?
the girls basketball radio as the color commentator and also as a special assistant to the head coach.
Okay.
Their new coach, I think her name is Duffy. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're both back involved in basketball doing. Kayla actually played in Australia last year professionally, and Liz, like I said, was with the WNBA. She was with the Aces for a while, and then she got picked up for a 10-day or 7-day contract with Sparks, maybe.
Really?
Someone in
Yeah.
while they had some injuries, and now she's back.
Doing what? Yeah, I mean,
working
just
out
enjoying it, being
to
a
try
part
and
of the
get
sport,
back, so.
doing what we're doing.
That's right. That's right.
Well, so we're talking about you coaching at Northwest, and I remember the first game that I coached, JV boys basketball. I was stepping up for our head coach had gotten. I was in college. I was a senior. I was doing my student teaching, and the head JV boys coach got a technical and got ejected. Huge. I've told this story on here before, and so that's where I got my first coaching chance. And I remember, I don't know, I gave somebody a chewing right in their ear, and I'm this tall. This kid was this tall, and I'm cheering. And I look to my right, and there's this woman staring at me like, "Who is that?" And come along, that was your wife.
Well, that's good.
She was doing the clock for the JV games then, man. And,
She kept my scorebook every time we played. So
well,
yeah.
and every episode, everybody we've talked to, the main common denominator here is how you've been able to be successful is that strong coach's spouse. Whether with Coach Tilley, with Ryan, and all the wives that we've had that we've talked about, but she's in it. She's different from all the other ones. Like, she's in it. She's coached. She's been a head coach. She's been, right by your side. She was a PE teacher, correct, at Northwest Guilford.
Yes.
So, tell us how important that's been for you.
It's tremendous because we both support each other. We both have been. She played in high school. She played in college volleyball. Played basketball in high school. We both dated in high school.
She go to West.
She went to Western Guilford, so we dated in high school. And then I played basketball and baseball in high school and did. So we've been together for a long time. We parted ways a little bit when we got to college, just the typical, distance away from each other in college a little bit. But then we came back together and we've been together since then. We've been together a long time. But yes, the support you get on both sides. Our boys have grown up in the gym. Our oldest one used to sleep under the bleachers during the games when he was 6 months old, 8 months old. So our youngest one then, he would sleep so both our kids have grown up in the gym. She coached volleyball, played volleyball in college, coached volleyball in college. When we were at High Point, when I was the assistant coach, she was the assistant volleyball coach. So we've done that kind of thing all along. Then we worked together in Laurinburg at Scotland. She was volleyball coach, PE teacher. I was PE teacher, boys basketball coach. We spent 6 years there together. Moved back, and she was out for a couple of years when we moved back to Greensboro. Then she took a job in a middle school and started back to coach a little bit then. And then Darlene retired from volleyball, but she continued and teaching, but she continued to help basketball. That's when I started helping her with basketball, and Nancy took over the volleyball program then at Northwest Guilford. So
I think it's pretty cool to see, most of the time it's the wife supporting, the husband and their coaching career and everything, but not only has she done that for you, but you've been able to be there for her too, and to balance in some of those things. Y'all must know each other's thoughts.
Yeah, pretty good. We can we're the type we can finish sentences, or
without a doubt.
We kind of know we don't have to talk all the time. We yell at the TV when we're watching games. We watched the games like Carolina-Kentucky game last night, and she's pulls for Kentucky somewhat because her mother was a UK grad, so she has that ties there. And I'm a Carolina fan when I'm not. We watched the Duke game before that, Florida game. We're both.
That's a sports household.
Yeah,
through and through.
We're both yelling at the TV, talking to, what are you doing? What was that? So it's all the time. So
well, again, I think that's pretty incredible to see it on both ends of the spectrum. I think that's both of all our wives. They're my wife's a surfer, and your wife. I don't think Callie really. She engaged.
Soccer.
She played soccer, so she played some sports, but it's not at that same level of what you're kind of coming from with that.
We'll be watching volleyball. We'll watch volleyball starts tomorrow, so we'll start watching the volleyball NCAA tournament starts tomorrow, so we'll be watching that throughout the weekend and going from there.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned your boys. You have two?
Yeah, two boys.
How old are they?
33 and 30.
I said they're all age.
Right.
So they'll be 34. The oldest one will. And
I wonder if I played against your youngest by any means. Where'd they go to high school?
Northwest.
I don't know if we ever
Played
played
baseball and
Northwest.
basketball. I don't think Trinity. No.
I don't think we ever did. Maybe in like a jamboree or
maybe
summer
in a
ball or something like that. Yeah.
Camp or something.
Because that's
how
same
many
age.
geographical Guilford schools are there? There's Northwest, South. I feel like
There's
every
Northwest,
single compass
Southwest,
direction.
Southeast, Northeast, Eastern, Western. These are all Guilford, Guilford.
Right.
But then you throw in
The Grimsley Page.
Page, Dudley.
Yeah. There's 4 original city schools.
Dudley, Page,
Grimsley, and Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
And
Ben L.
then-
Smith.
Gotcha.
Then when the school merged with Guilford County's Greensboro City and Guilford
Then you
County
throw High Point
merged,
Central.
along with High Point City schools
Yeah, High
merged,
Point
all
City
merged
schools.
together. Then you have a total. I think it's 14 or 15 schools.
Is that not nuts?
So
I mean, you have to drive
That's
30
high schools.
You have to drive 30 minutes to get the closest
I feel
program
like I'd
to
go to
school
the
here.
wrong Guilford school. Like I'd just show up for the wrong game.
Yeah.
Half the
So
time. I mean, we could throw a rock to
Yes.
High Point Andrews whenever we're
Yeah.
at Central.
Correct.
Southwest Guilford,
And
same thing.
pretty much every school that was originally a county school, not in the city of High Point or city of Greensboro, is a directional school.
Yeah, northwest, southeast, southwest,
Yes, everything.
northwest. It's kind of. It's almost like when you go up to New York or something, and all the schools are numbers.
Yeah.
128.
Yes,
It kind of has that. I'm glad that
Exactly.
we were not that simple-minded. That we actually have names, and I think it's saying South Brunswick, North Brunswick, West Brunswick. You still kind of have it. There wasn't much creativity. I feel like
No.
not like the Hoggard or the Laneys. I thought that was always pretty cool. But so, where are your boys at now? That's what I
Both
wanna
of them
get
live in
into.
Greensboro.
Okay.
So they both live there. Oldest one teaches at High Point Andrews,
Oh, really?
and then he is assistant baseball coach, helps with the baseball team at Northwest.
How? At Northwest, not
at
at Andrews.
Northwest, no,
I was
not
gonna say
at
Andrews.
And then our youngest son works with a company called Hudson Auto Works there in town,
Okay.
and they live in Greensboro also. So yeah, but he doesn't. He also does some things with GBC, Greensboro Batting Center.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Man, I used to hit there all the time.
Carolina
growing up.
Acceleration.
Yeah.
He works back with Carmine Pagano, the acceleration, speed, and agility their weightlifting stuff.
So with all your family being there, how'd you guys get here?
We wish we'd have come here when we left Laurinburg.
Oh, yeah, really? Instead of making that Guilford
Yeah,
County
instead of
stop.
going back home. We had to go back home for family reasons.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, of course.
My wife's sister was killed in a car wreck when her children were in high school.
Okay.
We were down here 6 years. We had just moved when that happened, so we stayed another 3-4 years, and they were in high school age, college age. We just felt like it was time for us to go back and be closer
Yeah, of course.
with them and help with some things with that situation. But after we'd always loved the area and wanted to be at the beach. My parents have a place that they vacation. They've had it for 25 years or more, and we used to come down vacation right next door to Sandpiper Bay Golf Course, and so we've been coming here forever.
Yeah.
And then, so when we retire, we're moving to the beach, and we looked everywhere from Surfside to Emerald Isle, and finally we were like, this
Close enough to get back home when you need to.
This is 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We can be at our children's house if we need to.
Okay.
So we just, it was close enough. Who doesn't like to come to the beach?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, this is one of the fastest growing areas.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Without
Brunswick
question.
County, Ocean Isle
Yeah.
Beach. I mean, the summer. I know you were around here. This is kind of your first big summer here. I mean, it was nuts, and everybody's kind of moving, and I know the story of how you got to West Brunswick because I was there.
You were there.
But how did the whole you can tell them a little bit. How did the ties have ended up at West Brunswick?
Well, I guess you and I, had talked a little bit, and
I saw you at a game.
I came to see you play, and you introduced me to Jimmy, and then you and I had talked a little bit, and one thing led to another. You had the girls' opening came up, and I was actually going to come and volunteer and help you.
I was trying to get them with me.
I was going to come help you, and then when the girls' job came up, and as it turns out, Jimmy and I have a lot of friends across the state, a lot of people that we know, acquaintances or friends, whatever you want to call it.
When you've been alive as long as Jimmy, it kind of helps.
There you go.
That.
Well, we're both in, I don't know how old Jimmy is, but I'm 64, so and actually one of my best friends from college, they know each other real well. From Hickory area, and so we just got to talking, and it just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
And so here we are in year 2, and
different expectations than when you were at Northwest Guilford.
Yes, the first few years. The girls are tremendous. They work hard. They're learning to work at a different level than what where we want them to work, if that makes sense. And have that same intensity that you try to have in games to try and have that same intensity in practice. And we've gotten better at that, and we're getting better at that. And along with also having fun and doing, but they're doing a great job. I mean, they're tremendous young ladies. I wouldn't trade them. I love them all. They do a great job.
We're not there yet. We're gonna get into the season a little bit, and we're gonna go in 2-2, like we said earlier. We're gonna go into some of your games so far this season, what your outlook is, but. We're going to take a pause for a second, do our little segment that we got sponsored by Lululemon. So shout out Lululemon.
Athleisure.
Yep, Athlete Leisure. This is our Mount Rushmore. This one's a tough one. I don't know why I thought about it. It just randomly came to me. I'm going to let you choose the next one because hopefully it'll be a little easier than this one. This is the Mount Rushmore of North Carolina high school basketball teams that you've watched, that you've witnessed. Girls or guys, high school, North Carolina. And I'll start with my first one. The best high school team I have ever watched, this is probably, or in North Carolina, is in public and where I'm kind of going to. You could go all the way into Theo Pinson at Wesleyan and all that kind of stuff. But, of course, go to it. But my public
Boys,
school.
girls,
everything. Was that 2018, I believe, the year, Southwest Guilford, when they had the Langley brothers. They had the Langley brothers. They had the boy that went to Queens, Jaden Turner.
Yes. They
had all 3 brothers. Well, there's 4 of them, I know, but they had 3. The twins that went to UCG. The other brother went to Livingston. No,
I'm not sure.
A&T. He's the leading assist, school-leading assist record.
Yes.
And he's at A&T. They had Jaden Turner going to Queens. They had a random white kid that stood in the corner that never missed. They were just, one of the teams that, they pressed, they shot the ball well, they were fast, they were athletic, they were big. They hit every mark, man. They won the state championship, and I think they won it pretty handedly too, if I remember. So that's my number one.
They were really good.
Who's your number one?
Probably the best team when I was in college. We used to go and play against them in the summer when I was home for the summer break. A bunch of us that played in college, we would come home and go play against Danny Manning at Page High School, Michael Foster. They had a kid that went to Charleston Southern, about 6'4", 6'5". Had a kid, Craig Wilson, I believe he was on that team that went to Elon. They were really good, but Michael Foster was starting point guard for 3 years at least at South Carolina.
That's insane.
Manning, everybody knows about Danny Manning, what he did. So yeah, they were the only team that I know there were some others, but during when I was
around.
They were 32-0, whatever, state championship. And I don't know that anybody came close.
No.
It'd be hard to imagine with that group.
Yeah,
with that, I mean,
too
just
many
yelling
close
those
games.
They were
nations right
loaded.
there.
You know, back years ago, Rocky Mount had Brad Daugherty, and that group come through. They were ridiculously loaded. So he had a that come
Is
out
that
of
your
Rocky
two?
Mount.
That Rocky
I would
Mount
say
team?
probably. I guess there's.
I know you've
Was
got
Phil,
a lot.
Was Phil Ford
But-
on that Rocky Mount team, or was that
No, I think Phil was before that,
Gotcha.
maybe. Obviously, well, we talked about earlier the Alvis Rogers, Dominique Wilkins. I never saw them play in high school, but they were two of the best college players that when they came through at the time. They were on the same high school team. I do know some guys that a team from our area, Rockingham County, was really good. They went and played them and got beat 20-25 against them, and they were really good out of the West, and they were playing them in the East. So
Dad ran pickup games with Dominique because he was in Little Washington
Yes.
right out of college, and he just finished playing in Wake and played with those guys and covered those guys. So that was a fun time to be in Little Washington.
Who's your number one, WA?
Number one, Word of God, and it was so I was in private school at that point in time, and you're able to play varsity from 7th grade
Yes.
up in private school. So it was either my 7th or 8th grade year, and I was
Playing.
I was on
Grown man.
on varsity, right?
John Wall.
Right. I was just there watching the game basically until the end of it. But we went to Word of God with John Wall, and it was probably John Wall's senior year and C.J. Leslie's sophomore, junior year. But they were on that same Word of God team, and thank God that we didn't
that
have
would've been-
hoop mixtape and all that back then, because we would have been plastered
Everywhere.
You didn't have
That's a
video.
different level. That
It
right
is.
there. Of what I'm kind of thinking of. My number two is probably the 2000. I would say 2004, but I wasn't around to watch them. But the 2009 Trinity team when they had Josh Pittman and they had
That's
Ben
Trinity
King.
your way, right?
Yeah, not
Yes.
Trinity Christian, but Trinity. The public
Yes.
school. They were 2A. They had to have been 2A because they lost to my number 3 team, which was Kinston
They played
and Reggie
Kinston.
Bullock. And
Yeah.
I watched that game, and that was one of the Ben
a
King
great
hit a
game.
half court shot at the
Yeah.
buzzer to make them lose by like 2 or something like that.
I went
but
to that game.
That was
a
in
great
Carolina,
game.
right? Was
Yes,
that
at
Dean
Dean
Dome?
Dome, yes.
So I mean, my 2 and 3 is the 2009, and even though they lost, that Trinity team, they were good. Josh
They were
Pittman was
really
one of the
good.
best high school basketball players, public high school basketball players that I've
Yes.
ever personally watched. And then also the 2009 Reggie Bullock Kinston boys, and you could probably throw your number in a hat and pick one out
Oh,
of one of the
yeah.
years for Kinston, and they're all going to be one of the top teams too.
Yeah.
Them, Kinston probably, and the Reidsville area
Yep.
are probably the two areas in the state that have had more athletes
Yep.
and
Throw Salisbury in
great
that mix
Salisbury
too. Yeah.
in over the course of 40 years.
Yep.
They seem like they have someone every year.
Yep.
That's just he's going to.
in any sport.
In,
Or,
in
well, 'cause
football,
everybody in those
football,
kind of areas, they
basketball.
play
yeah,
every
there was probably a
sport.
little like that. Probably
Yeah.
the closest thing
They-
to that in this
yeah.
area.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like in that area, which I feel like is a lost art in a lot of places, the best basketball players are the best football players.
Yeah.
And most of them are the best baseball players too. Like they play every sport.
In
and,
their
and-
area, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once you get it started and you have a good program at some point in time, a lot of those guys are around, and
Correct.
the younger kids grow up playing.
Wanting to be a part of that too.
Want to be a part, but also playing against those guys, and the older guys are, they're not easy on them. They're out there making it tough. Like you're going to be better than I was. Your
Yes.
group's going to be better than we were, and you get that over a course of 10, 15
Correct.
years, and
And
you get
most,
some,
yes, and most of the Reidsville area, those type, they don't leave. they
Yep.
they graduate high school, they go play, and a lot of them come back,
Come
and
right
that's
back.
where they live. And so they
Athletes
just
producing
keep-
athletes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Well, what's your next couple, WA?
Number 2 for Trinity Fayetteville when Dennis Smith was at
Yeah,
Trinity Fayetteville.
wow, yeah.
And not even so much the team. They had one or
purely
two
him.
guys. Just him.
Yeah.
Just him as a high school athlete
Yeah.
was unbelievable. Third is certainly not the best team, right? But at Triton High School, 2012, 2013 years, the year after I graduated, so I was close to all the guys. We lost out in the second round of the state playoffs. That team went to the Eastern Regional Finals, lost to Rocky Mount. But that was just fun for me. It was a good group of guys.
It's personal.
It was
Yes.
personal, and it what it meant for our community,
Yeah.
for them to make it that far. We were playing at the Crown Coliseum in Fayetteville,
Yes.
and I mean we filled out probably 3 sections
Wow.
for our community. Like it was really cool, and just that run that they went on was special. They actually beat one of those directional north. I think it was Northern Guilford. It was They were black and purple.
that's it.
Yeah.
Is that Northern? Yeah, that is the
That's
black
Northern.
the Blackhawks or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was the black, and they
That's
beat them
them.
on a buzzer beater. Then they went to Westover and won on a buzzer beater there as well. And like
That was a year.
Yeah, it was just a crazy year. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. So Triton High School, the Hawks.
Yes.
Give us one more. Give us your fourth one, Coach.
Oh gosh.
You can go, like I said, you can go newer, older. You can get girls, guys, whatever.
Obviously Northwest we were really.
Do you think you were better that
from
first
the
state championship or the second one?
Second one for sure, because we were sophomores as
You had Lindsay
uh,
then
the
too
other-
on
and
the
then-
team, right?
And all the girls returned from the year before that we won, but a year older and better.
Mature.
We had much more contributions than just the scoring of 2 players.
Yeah.
Lindsay scored, Bree scored, the Cargo girl scored. I mean, we had a lot of different
Yeah.
pieces then. We were much better. So, I mean,
And they were giants, man.
in all reality, we probably win it 3 times in a row.
You
or
had
be a
another
champ.
6'6" girl on that team. She wasn't
yes,
Kelly,
she
but
played-
you had 2 6'6" girls on the
She
team.
went to can't remember her first school. Then she ended up at Pepperdine.
Yeah.
Yes, she was 6'6".
On the same team, and she didn't. I don't even think she
She
started.
didn't play a whole lot because
Yeah.
she was not quite as mobile as Kitley was. and
Is that
Dave.
not?
So we
That's-
did
that's-
have
that's pretty
two.
wild.
We
Yes.
did have 2 big girls. Yes,
For a
without question.
public school team to have that much talent on one
My
team.
tallest
yeah.
girl was 6 foot. The next, my point guard was 4'11".
Yes,
I had a girl, a little Skylar Conley. She was 4'11", running point guard against.
she wasn't a
their
bad player though.
No, she was quick, but against your 6'1"
It's
Virginia Tech
different.
commit, there. I mean,
It's just different.
it is, man.
And
It is.
If you're going to win state championship, you've got to have, you got to have players at any level. But you've got to have. Usually, you don't just, as I like to say, coaching is a factor, but it's a small factor when you've got. I mean, you've got really good players. You have a chance.
You can't outcoach talent.
No.
Like if
Yeah.
the other team's more talented.
and then
they're
throwing
gonna
on
win most
being
of the
very
time.
well coached as well. That's that's a dream
I
come true.
mean, from a boys' standpoint, you look at. I know we're off topic here, but you can look at. New Hanover's been really good.
Yeah.
Boys.
That's my fourth, by the way.
Yeah.
2018.
North
Rami
Meck,
Collins Zeus, yeah.
North Meck,
Yep.
and Charlotte
Isaiah.
is loaded
Every year.
and they've made it to the finals now. How many times?
I don't know, 4 or 5 out
And-
of 6, something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Have they won? They won.
Yeah, they
one or
won it when
two.
Isaiah was there.
They've won a couple.
Yeah.
But then how many chances they've had?
Yeah.
You've got to be really good. But
To stay there is
North
is
Meck,
awesome.
North Meck has players that are at Duke, at Carolina, at State, at everywhere every year, and so you've got to be really
Well, and I
good.
think that's one of the things that why my fourth is that 2018 would it be? No, it wouldn't be 2018. It would be 2023. New Hanover team, Ramik Allen, Zeus, Kellum, some random guys here and there. You don't know their names. You don't.
Right.
They're not. Ramik, who was their best player, conference player of the year, is at Tallahassee JUCO.
Right.
Zeus, I think, is playing football.
He's
somewhere.
tearing it up there too.
Yeah, he is. I have seen that. But they didn't have that Duke commit, that, Carolina commit. And, to get to the state championship 2 years in a row, kind of going through that, that's impressive,
Yep.
And that's why I think sometimes, some of the best teams that I've watched have not been purely just based off of, yes, the Reggie Bullock with him, but they had other dudes too.
They
Like
had
some of those
others,
guys that
yeah.
just the teams that didn't have that big time commit.
The
that were
fourth
just
guy on
good.
that team would have been most guys' number one.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, and I think that was my 2023 New Hanover. Angel does a great job year in year out putting those guys in great places, and if they're freshmen and they're better, they're starting.
Oh yeah.
And that's how he was, and I think he has done a very, very good job there too. So
Yes.
Who's your fourth?
South Central, when I forget his name, he played there as a sophomore. They had a guard that went and played at UNCW. Started all 4 years there at UNCW, I believe. But Coach Cherry was South Central. That was when I was a GA at East Carolina. So we saw them play pretty often, and they were very good. They had the kid who was I think he went to Mount Verde for the rest of his high school career, and then played at Carolina. So they had 2 or 3 high-level D1 guys on that team, and they won the state championship. I think they might have won it twice in that span. So,
well, I think this is a good chance. I think this is a pretty cool topic here, and we'll try to do it a little bit more. We haven't had the comment section open on we want this to be positive, and not that anybody will bring this on negatively, but we want to keep this as positive as possible. So we've always had the comments turned off, and we'll kind of test the water and see how it goes. But we love to hear your thoughts. A lot of you that watch this are not just basketball fans, but athletes in general, and sports fanatics and fans. And we'd love to hear with this topic your Mount Rushmore of high school basketball teams that you've seen in the state of North Carolina. Some of the best ones that you have physically witnessed or even been a part of. Let us know a little bit in the comments after this, and we'd love to see some of that, because some of those might bring up some memories for us as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's get a little bit to the end here, and let's get to why we kind of bring you on, man. Is give us a little bit about West. Y'all are 2-2 right now. The JV is 3-0.
Yes.
Y'all got Cape Fear. Now, does Cape Fear doesn't have a JV girls?
No, they do not.
So varsity only tomorrow with you guys. I know they got a JV boys. So y'all doing JV boys, varsity girls, varsity boys. Hopefully you guys start before 8:00, because the other night the guys started at like 8:15, and I went to bed at halftime. So
it's a long game.
Yeah.
Y'all's was
a long game.
Ours was a long game. Theirs was a long game. The JV games were relatively long. Well, we didn't start to 4. We didn't start normal 3:30 time.
Because Whiteville can't.
Whiteville couldn't.
Their school
whatever
hours.
is their school hours. And so I think when we go there Friday, it'll be the same thing. It'll be a late night for them.
So I know you had 3. You had 3 girls graduate, right?
Yes.
And 3, I know you didn't coach them all 4 years, but they're 4-year varsity starters in Brooklyn Coble, Sanaya Stanley, and Jahira Mastery. 4 years. Jahira, everybody got excited to see her shoot. Brooklyn is, a coach's dream, and just a gym rat, a pest defensively. She was going to put her heart and soul on the floor every single time. And Sanaya had a little wiggle to her, man. She scored the ball well. She had long arms. She ran the floor well when she needed to. And those were big parts that you are out of nowhere trying to replace. And so tell us a little bit of how you're doing that right now.
Well, we're trying to play a little faster.
Okay.
I don't know that we had quite the depth last year to play, but we're pressing more, trying to play a little quicker. Get the ball at the floor a little quicker, trying to put more pressure on the other teams.
I noticed that y'all were trapping a lot.
Yes, we've kind of committed to that. We're going to try that, and hopefully that'll work out
Live
for
and
us.
die by?
We'll see. Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. But we do want to speed up our pace of play. I felt like last year after watching it do, but some of that was depth with number of players.
Brooklyn's got to play 32 minutes.
Yeah. So this year, I think we have more bodies that we can put out there that it's not really that big of a difference between the starters and the second group that comes in or the people that come off the bench. Jakaya stepping up as a junior. She's been on the varsity for 2 years, Jakaya Johnson, so she now is ready to step up. Number 4, I believe. I don't know numbers sometimes, so
we'll just go names.
I think it's coaches. I always have to check my roster.
I'm putting them in the book. It's like, let me go back and make sure. Anyway,
turn around real quick.
We don't know. But anyway, so Jakaya's doing well. She's stepped up her scoring, and she's more involved offensively. I think she deferred last year to the others quite a bit, and so now it's time for her to step up. Tamia Thomas is doing the same thing. Sophomore. She's stepping up and looking for her shots to do things. Grace and Abby Wilkes, Grace Kitchen. Grace Kitchen. Grace just does what Grace does. She rebounds, puts back,
soft touch at the rim,
catch it. She
keeps it high.
She's got really good touch. Abby we've taught Abby. She's doing what she does well, giving us a lot of defensive energy.
She's got that wingspan that she can get. She gets hands on a lot of stuff.
Molly's just a gamer.
She touches a lot of rebounds. Molly has started to have confidence in her shooting, and so we've told her. She was very excited the other night after her. I forget who. It wasn't South. It was. I told her when she come off. I said, "You're going to be open. Shoot the basketball. You can shoot." And she started to make a few shots, and she's now believing that she can shoot instead of believing that it's not. Anaya Galls is playing very well off the bench. She can really pass the ball. She doesn't score much.
Gives you a different
type
of energy
But she's working,
too.
but she does some different things. Our freshmen are doing a good job that we have. We have 2 freshmen, Tamani Stevenson and Kanaya Brown. Tamani's learning. She's getting better each week, every day of practice.
Is that the kind of the smaller, skinny girl?
Thin.
Yeah. I've seen her on the floor. Like last game, I saw her on the floor a lot. And I'm not talking about like the trash minutes at the end of quarters. Like she's in there.
Correct. No, she's doing a good job. She'll get in there and mix it up. She doesn't mind sticking her nose in there and
Where's she come? Charlotte or Cedar Grove?
Charlotte,
I
believe. And then Kanaya is our other freshman who is starting. She's going to be a pretty good player when it's all said and done. She's very quick. She gives us that Brooklyn approach on defense, although she may be even a little quicker than Brooklyn was. And she's pretty tough. She's not afraid to go in there either. So I think we're going to be, by the end, I think we will be drastically improved from where we are now. Does that mean you're going to win more games in our conference? Maybe not, because when you start playing Hoggard and the New Hanovers and Laney's and all, it's a tough battle.
Well, I know when we talked last year, kind of offensively, minded stuff. I know you already told us what you're doing defensively. The last couple of years, you really tried to, with Sanaya and Jakaya and Tamia a little bit, was doing that mover blocker offense.
Yeah.
Is that what you're still trying to do, or where are you at
this
now?
year, and we've gone to a 4-out type of motion. More
like the old Kenny Carter kind of stuff, like
no. This is a whole. It's something that we started to do back at Northwest when I was helping with the JV team and the 9th grade team when I'd quit coaching basketball for a while to chase my boys in baseball. So something had to give, either boys basketball when I was the coach there or my children. So I chose my children at that point when we were traveling all over the Southeast playing baseball, to Atlanta and everywhere else. So we had to do that. So I couldn't put in the time in the summers and do. And then but when I started back, Robert Kent and I at Page High School used to talk a lot about. We spent a lot of time videos, sharing, doing. We found this motion that we like. Read and React is the guy that does it. We found that on and bought the videos and did, and I started to get back into basketball a little bit. And we started putting that in, and we actually did that at Northwest a lot. I started helping put that in with our
I love the Read and
coach
React stuff.
That's there now, and and we do it. And we started doing that, and that was when my children come through school a little bit. We started to do it when they were coming through the high school at Northwest, and we started to put that in as I was coaching the younger teams.
That's
back
great.
When I coached you, and
That's,
so I would
that
help
teaches them
do-
true basketball knowledge and skill.
It's a way to
And
teach them the fundamentals of basketball.
Correct. So we've kind of, as y'all know, it's kind of rules based.
Yep.
It's not necessarily pattern based.
Yep.
So most of it is rules based offense. Hey, if the ball does this, you do this. If
Your
this
defender does
happens,
this.
you do this.
Yep.
If your defender does this, does one thing, then this is your counter to that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing, and
Are they picking it up
some
pretty well?
some nights it's better than
Yeah,
others.
yeah.
Some days it's better
That's
than
high school
others.
basketball right there.
But it is. But they do that kind of thing naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the reason we went to the defensive pressure stuff we're doing. That's kind of their natural instinct. Our girls.
Yeah, well, it creates your offense.
And it creates hopefully more offense for us, and we don't have to grind out offensive possessions in the half court, which we needed that.
Yeah.
To
Well, we
do.
talked about that last week with Coach Bryant. Was he came in not late, but he came to the point where he needed to hit his his number one things out early, and that was
Correct.
defensively. And he's like, if you pick up that defensive pressure, most of the time your defense can create your easiest offense.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And whether and even on teams that might not be as good offensively, put up some numbers just because of that defensive intensity and pressure and style of defense. And I feel like that really suits you guys. Now, when you get to Hoggard, when you get to them, do you plan to stick to that same stuff? Or?
We're going to stick with it and see what happens. I mean, I know we can't allow Hoggard to come up the floor and just run their sets and their patterns and do what they're going to do, because that's not a formula for success against them.
Yeah.
You must try and force them to take some shots and quicker shots and some things that they don't like to do.
Yeah.
They have a
They
guard.
hit them.
Yeah, the biggest thing is with them, they have a guard that, for the most part, is very hard to press.
Yeah.
What's
her name again?
Shivers.
Yep, Shivers. Yeah.
That's her last name. She's been 2-time player of the year, I think.
Was as a freshman.
She was a
Or
freshman.
I know
too.
she started as a freshman.
And she's a senior.
She's a junior or senior now,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I know she was player of the year last
felt
year
like
and the
she's
year
been there
before.
for
So
10
I'm not
years
sure if
watching
she's
her.
a junior or senior. I can't remember.
She's strong with the ball, best left-handed,
Yeah.
or she's right-handed,
So,
but best left-handed in
yeah.
girls basketball I've seen in a long
You're just
time.
not going to take it from her very often, but hopefully we can force it out of her hands a little bit. and force
Make
the
somebody
others.
else
Yeah.
carry the ball.
And that's kind of the idea behind pressuring.
Yeah.
What you try to do most of the time is you're trying to get some others to make plays that are not used to making plays. That's what we're trying to do.
I love it. I've been there. I've had to do that with a lot of teams that just trying to find ways to put the ball
Just
in the
got to
basket.
muck it up sometime.
Yeah.
So-
Well, let's close it out. Last question before we talk about our next week. We brought this up with Coach Bryant. What is your when someone asks you, what are you about coaching wise? And your non-negotiables. You're going to do this, or we're not going to do it. What is your non-negotiable? What is your philosophy when it comes to what you do?
More.
You didn't know you were going to have a test here.
No. That changes.
Yeah.
I think as you to answer the question and not answer the question, that changes as you mature as a coach and doing and different things. When I was first started, there were things. I mean, I did things that would get you fired now.
I feel like everybody did.
Yeah, or said things that would get you fired in non-negotiable. The biggest thing is a mindset of competing, playing hard, and whether you make mistakes or not make mistakes, we preach to the girls, you're going to mess up. I was talking to some of them. I was talking to Molly. I said, what constitutes you having a good what's a good game, a good shooting? If you shoot 40% from the 3-point line, you are a 4 out of 10 is all you got to do to be considered a great shooter. Yeah. So stop worrying about how many you miss and just worry about how we shoot. More about form and doing. I think that's for changing here. At Northwest, it was a little different mindset, a different non-negotiables for the girls.
Of course.
Here, it's a different non-negotiable. We're trying to get them to understand, hey, we're going to make mistakes. I think that's here. I've taken the philosophy a little bit, positivity, trying to be positive. I have fussed. I do fuss some, but trying to be more of a positive mindset and not, when something happens, it's not the end of the world. Move on.
Yeah,
we got to go.
Going. Yeah, there's I was talking, man, I think it was Bryant last week where it's like, this was off camera at the end with Nolan, okay, you missed 3 shots. How long does it take to get up a shot.
Yeah.
2 seconds, right? Like
Yeah.
a second or two.
Yeah.
So 6 seconds that constitutes you having a bad game. What happened the other 31 minutes and
Right.
54 seconds?
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and that's exactly right. And I think that's the what we're trying to
Yep.
communicate and relay to our team. And so they're starting to get that and understand that's but so I think non-negotiables sometimes they change.
Yep.
Year to year,
Different
or
teams,
team
different
to
players,
team,
yep.
or school to school about what you're doing. So I kind of take it as that.
Yeah.
Last year's group was, I met with the seniors, and these were the kind of the things that they wanted. So we tried to do those things. This year we've met with the seniors. I met with the seniors and Jakaya, because she's the oldest junior player returning. We met and we talked about, okay, these are kind of the things we need to get done. And, you're always trying to teach them when they go to work, if they come to work at Shakalaka Bowls, or they go to work, be on time.
Yeah.
Positive attitude when you're at work, no negativity when you're at work, trying to get things done, take initiative. Oh, I'm just going to do it. Don't
Work
complain
hard.
about, what's going on. If you don't like it, you go talk to somebody, go talk to the owner or whoever that's in charge and say, this is what's going on. What can I do to, so those are the kind of things that we try to relay to our girls, that when they get out of West Brunswick, that they can carry and move on, and that will help them in their lives.
I like it.
So,
I agree with all of that, and I think one of the biggest things that you said is, and it's because I agree, and it depends on sports. Male,
Right.
female, it just
It
does.
does.
And I think just teaching some of these kids to compete. And I know that's the big thing right now with you guys is, when I was at Central with those girls, they just had no idea what it meant to compete. We competed for water breaks. Like we did it. It didn't matter how small it was. Just
Right.
learning what it meant to hate losing more than you love to win.
Yeah.
And and I feel like that's one of those things that if you can teach that at a high level or an elite level, that you're making a difference in some aspect of a program culture and stuff. But I think, like you said, you hit a lot of stuff. Positivity. I think that's one thing that I'm not talking about sportsmen or everyone gets a medal kind of trophy
Yeah.
type thing, but understanding that nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm, and I think that's one of my
Correct.
favorite quotes that I ever heard, and I brought that everywhere, and I think the more that coaches understand that beating kids down all the time and telling them how bad they are, how negative they are, that just doesn't work. And I know that's kind of a newer age style of thing, but
It is.
you got to have that balance. And I wasn't perfect. I know none of us were when it came to that, but I think it's important.
And it's a whole change, without question. It's a change from when I played, it was.
Yeah. Even from when you were coaching at Northwest Guilford, those girls to hear like that,
They still had to be built up. They were good, and you had different roles as coaches. Our head coach was on them, and Darlene was tremendous coach. She deserved everything she's ever received. She was driven, and she taught the girls how to be driven and do, and but we had the kind of good cop, bad cop thing. She fussed at them, I'd come along behind them. Hey, this is what we're doing. Do so. It worked for us. It was perfect. And so whether that's the right analogy or not, but. And so we do some of that here. John and Venable, our new assistant, and Coach Peak, DR Peak, they come along after I fuss. Hey,
everybody loves some Peak, man.
Oh, they love him. It's not that big a deal. It's okay. You'll be all right here. Do this and do, and just because they fussed, and so it's going well with that. But yeah, like I said, the girls are working. They're trying to do what we're trying to ask them to do, and so that's all you can ask.
Well, I hope
Absolutely.
continued success for what you guys done, and we're excited to come tomorrow night and to watch it out. So let's close up a little bit. Let's go into next week. Next week we got Coach Walter Shaw, the head men's basketball coach at our local JUCO program at Brunswick County Community College. Very excited to have him on. You set this up for us, or he reached out to us.
He reached out, so,
which
was really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to see that next level stuff, and it's also that people are watching and people are interested, and we love that.
He'll be a really interesting guest, I think, because he's seen a lot of good players.
That's what I was gonna say. I think
Yes.
it's a lot like
Yes.
him and Jimmy and people that have been around the sports world and the game and been different places. just to hear what they've seen, who they've been around. That I think that'll be really cool to talk to him.
Excited for that.
Yeah, so we're pumped. And again, we're gonna reiterate. If you want to be a part of this and you want to shout out, or you want to sponsor our Mount Rushmore segment, or you want to be on our banner that we're hopefully planning to try to get, want your name on there, message us, whether it's at Shakalaka Bowls or Charlotte Area Sports. We also have we oversee home maintenance and prepare. Prepare. And Nolan, you get
social site marketing from Wilmington to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, man. So we're excited, and we want to thank you guys again for watching. I know this one was a little bit longer. Where are we at?
We always say it's longer.
We're right at an hour. So it always works perfectly. Those of you that go on them long runs, throw your headphones in and listen. But again, Coach, we want to thank you for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully your wife can enjoy it and
season.
watch it on Friday, Saturday, whenever we can get this kind of out. And we'll see you guys next episode. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.